been a lot of talk from commercial real estate folks in general, and certainly here in New York City, about how...
what New York City people?
Yeah, no, New York City real estate, it's safe. Won't be hit by the subprime at all. How about Donald Trump Jr. told us it won't have any problems. Carrie Ann James told us there won't be any problems. Lots of people not worried about New York City real estate or commercial real estate. Yet in the last week, guys, we've seen tens of billions of dollars in commercial deals fall apart. Why? Because credit problems, including huge deals here in New York and Las Vegas. So in other words, guys, as shocking as it might actually be to the bulls, it does turn out that when the investment banks are so desperate for capital that they're being sold off piecemeal to foreign governments, that there's probably a major shortage of capital in this country right now. So here to talk about the move from glut to shortage is Craig Evans, Senior Managing Director of Colliers ABR, and Robert Sammons, Head of Research at Colliers ABR. And for a West Coast view, we're joined by Mark Wittcoff, Vice President at the Abbey Company. How you guys doing? Welcome to the show, everybody.
Thank you.
Thanks
for having us.
First off, anybody here really concerned about commercial real estate? Do you guys think it's going to be safe?
No, we're concerned about commercial real estate, and we do think a large impact of it is the tightening credit standards that are going on right now. In spite of the fact that the U.S. Treasuries have gone down 150 basis points on 10 years since July, the interest rates that are being charged are the same as they were then. And the amount of loan that you can get for any construction or to buy a building is a fraction of what it was before the bubble started to burst.
So now, and this is the circumstance for a lot of people. I mean, in commercial, residential, businesses, so forth, you know, they can't get the financing, and if they can, it's the interest rates are extremely high. You know, will this affect people who maybe don't have the best credit rating, you know, commercially, these real estate agents? I mean, you see it in pockets now.
Well, the biggest example in New York right now is Harry Macklowe, who's one of the very dynamic developer and investors, but he bought a large portfolio at the top of the market with short-term financing from, again, Deutsche Bank, and that's $6 billion that's coming due in February. And he is working.
He's scrambling, right? I mean, there really isn't enough capital that anyone's offering him. So he's having to put, what, the GM building up for sale?
Exactly.
Same thing, actually. Let's bring in the West Coast. On the West Coast, you guys, I mean, same sort of thing. Are you starting to see the overall macroeconomic forces of the credit crunch hit?
Not nearly as much. What we're seeing on the West Coast is more of a shift, because on the West Coast, we're always going to have new businesses, new things being invigorated from money coming in from the Pacific Rim. What we're seeing is a shift where most people in this country right now work for small businesses, and we're reconfiguring our buildings and our office space to accommodate the small professional firms and people who want to work near where they live.
So are you basically saying you feel like West Coast commercial real estate, at least in your area, is safe, going to be isolated from this credit crunch?
Well, the credit markets are tightening up, as the people from Colliers are saying. What they're saying is correct on the East Coast, but we're not as concerned on the West Coast because our supply of space is going to be absorbed by new industries and more are business owners and small firms. So these mortgage companies where we have big vacancies are going to be absorbed by biotech companies, medical and health sciences.
Right,
I hope they get funding.
And Mark, well, what about over there near you in Las Vegas? We have the Cosmopolitan, which is was going to be one of the new casinos there, run out of financing, and they can't finish building. Now, this casino right on the Strip, right next to the Bellagio.
Well, I was in Las Vegas a few weeks ago, and what impressed me about Las Vegas is there's nothing but cranes in the sky. And what we're seeing is more and more residential units under construction.
Right, Mark,
a huge deal was just done with Dubai.
I know, I understand that we cover that Vegas is booming in some areas, but will these cranes be able to finish building? Because, for example, the Cosmopolitan ran out of financing. I mean, we may see a lot of cranes right now, but will they be able to finish the projects?
I personally believe they will, because I think we'll see new sources of financing and new investment capital step in that we didn't foresee. And that's why, for those of us here in California, what we see is more of a shift than a downturn.
Are you buying this, that California, the West Coast, is going to be isolated from this, that somehow biotech, there's going to be a surge in hiring in all these industries that's going to save the commercial markets?
Certain markets, it's somewhat isolated. San Francisco is doing quite well right now. There are pockets of LA that are doing well, though if you move out into the suburbs, such as in Orange County, and even in San Diego, they're much weaker than they were, say, a year ago. Now, looking back toward New York on the East Coast, we've been more or less isolated up until recently. We saw a bit of a slowdown in the fourth quarter, but we see it kind of flattening out, remaining stable for the next
precipice?
Well, I don't know if I see a precipice. The good thing about New York is we're sitting at a 5.3% vacancy right now, which is very strong. And the other benefit is we've only got 1 million square feet of new inventory coming online this year, and that's One Bryant Park.
Right.
That will help us tremendously because we haven't seen this dramatic construction buildup this go around.
Well, we always like to talk about what's coming up, you know, and I was looking at Merrill Lynch's earnings, you know, also in their portfolio, they have $18 billion in their commercial real estate portfolio, 230 of which they had to write down. Now, Craig, do you see that this could potentially be a problem if the commercial real estate market goes bad, as the others, that now these investment banks are going to be facing this problem?
Well, in terms of the overall debt, financial institutions, there's a lack of transparency still about what they have on their books.
Right.
Okay, and there is a problem ongoing with financing. The great thing about New York and the East Coast, the gateway, world financial capital, is that we draw in capital from the entire world, and we are overrun with European, Asian investors. People come from all over the world that looks at this as a buying opportunity for a long-term investment in New York City.
All we got to do is keep trashing the dollar, and everybody can
Well,
afford real estate in New York. Guys, we got to wrap it there.
Thank you.
Thank you all
very
for
much.
everything. It's very interesting stuff.
And
Thank you.
on tap next.